On August 20th, 2025, the city of Xi'an, capital of Shanxi province in central China, endured an unusually severe weather event. A powerful storm, accompanied by heavy rainfall and strong gusts of wind, disrupted the daily lives of its residents. From early morning, thick black clouds blanketed the sky. Light showers soon turned into relentless downpours, lasting throughout the day. Strong winds howled through streets and neighborhoods, creating an atmosphere of tension and unease across the city. Rainfall totals exceeded 80 millimeters in just a few hours. This heavy deluge quickly submerged low-lying areas, turning central streets into rivers. Intersections and underpasses were covered by more than 30 centimeters of water. Cars stalled in the floods, forcing drivers to abandon their vehicles and wade through fast-moving currents. Not only the city center, but also riverside and suburban districts faced flooding as water levels surged, spilling into residential zones. Families stacked sandbags and moved belongings to higher ground in hopes of protecting their property. Along with the rain came wind gusts of 80 to 90 kilometers per hour. Although not classified as a typhoon or tropical storm, the force was still strong enough to uproot trees, tear off rooftops, and damage shop signs. Fallen trees blocked roads, causing major traffic problems. Several power lines were also knocked down, resulting in localized blackouts across parts of the city. In such conditions, residents were urged to stay indoors for safety. In response, the National Meteorological Center of China issued a yellow alert, the second level in the nation's 4-tier warning system. The alert signaled that while the storm was not life-threatening on a large scale, it was severe enough to disrupt society and pose risks. Local authorities immediately mobilized emergency crews. Police officers, firefighters, and medical teams were dispatched to flooded neighborhoods. Hazardous roads were closed, and citizens were advised to avoid unnecessary travel. Public transportation suffered major disruptions. Bus services were canceled or rerouted due to waterlogged streets. Subway and train operations faced problems as water seeped onto the tracks. At Xi'an International Airport, dozens of flights were delayed or canceled because of poor visibility and slippery runways, leaving thousands of passengers stranded. Schools across the city were closed for the day. Government offices and businesses shortened working hours, sending employees home early to avoid worsening conditions. Shopping malls and commercial centers shut down, leaving the usually crowded city eerily quiet, except for emergency crews working tirelessly in the streets. Although no fatalities were reported, numerous injuries occurred from traffic accidents, slips, and falling trees. Rescue teams used inflatable boats to evacuate people trapped in flooded areas, while also clearing roads of debris to restore access as quickly as possible. In the mountainous outskirts surrounding Xi'an, risks of landslides and mudflows increased due to saturated soil. Authorities issued warnings, broadcasting alerts, and evacuating families living near unstable slopes. By evening, the rain began to ease and winds weakened. Still, meteorologists forecasted additional showers into the next day, keeping the risk of flooding high, especially in areas with poor drainage systems or heavily soaked soil. Emergency crews remained on high alert, prepared for any further developments. Citizens were urged to rely on official updates and follow safety guidelines to protect themselves and their families. The storm of August 20th, 2025, served as another reminder of nature's harsh power, particularly in an era of increasingly extreme climate events. Xi'an suffered significant disruption to infrastructure, transportation, and daily life. Yet swift government response and community cooperation helped mitigate the worst impacts. This event also highlighted the importance of preparedness, of early warning systems, and of solidarity within the community when facing natural disasters. On July 18th, heavy rain continued to pour down in many areas of South Korea for the third consecutive day, forcing over 5,000 people to evacuate and causing significant damage to both life and property, according to Reuters. South Korean authorities confirmed that at least 4 people have died and 1 is still missing after the torrential rains caused flooding. The Ministry of Public Safety in South Korea reported that some southern regions, including Gwangju City, recorded a record rainfall of more than 400 millimeters in 24 hours as of the morning of July 18th. This rainfall far exceeded normal levels, submerging many roads, residential areas, and infrastructure. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung held an emergency meeting with relevant authorities on July 18th to oversee the response efforts. President Lee emphasized that while natural disasters are unavoidable, the government could have done better in forecasting damage and issuing timely warnings to minimize risks. Authorities continue to closely monitor the situation and maintain high-level warnings for the coming days. The National Meteorological Agency of South Korea has advised the public to be especially cautious about the risk of landslides and severe flooding until July 19th. Particularly in mountainous and riverside areas. According to the Ministry of Administration and Security in South Korea, as of the morning of July 18th, some areas in southern South Korea, including Gwangju City, had recorded a record rainfall of more than 400 millimeters in the previous 24 hours. This heavy rainfall has led to 4 deaths and 1 missing person in South Korea. Among the 4 fatalities, 2 people were trapped in their cars when roads were flooded, and 1 person died in a basement flooded in Cheongcheongnam Province. One driver died on July 17th after a 10-meter-high retaining wall collapsed onto his vehicle in Osan, located 44 kilometers south of Seoul. The warning for heavy rain remains in effect for most of western and southern South Korea. The country's weather agency has issued a warning for landslides and flash floods until July 19th. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung stated that while natural disasters are difficult to prevent, more could have been done to predict damage and warn the public. I see cases of casualties occurring due to weak responses when the situation could have been predicted, he said at the emergency weather meeting on July 18th, while calling for the mobilization of all available resources to respond. According to local authorities and fire departments, many areas have been deeply flooded, roads are cut off, and homes are isolated, requiring the use of boats to reach people. The heavy rain has caused many rivers to overflow, washing away fields and roads. Many villages have been completely isolated due to power and water outages and impassable roads. The floodwaters have risen to waist height, making it impossible to distinguish between farmland and roads. In Yugu, Gangju, 20 out of 50 households were flooded, and 15 people were rescued by firefighters using boats. In Hwawol, Gangju, a dam burst, causing water to flood livestock pens, forcing firefighters to use boats to rescue residents at 12:42 p.m. The heavy rain has also caused severe damage to homes, markets, and farmland. In many traditional markets, floodwaters inundated goods and mud-covered market stalls. Some apartment complexes in Chaewon-dong, Dangjin, had water pouring into their basements, submerging many vehicles. The water level of rivers in the region exceeded flood warning levels. Part of the Gwanggam Bridge, Xi'an, collapsed, and National Route 1 was deeply flooded, causing 6 vehicles to sink. Many greenhouses used for farming were also destroyed. The Korea Forest Service has raised the landslide warning level from caution to serious in Daejeon, Sejong, and Cheongnam. The Daejeon-Dongjin Expressway was completely closed due to landsliding onto the road. Some sections of National Route 39, local routes, and tunnels were also closed. Bus services between regions such as Dangjin, Myeonchun, and Godeok, Seokmun-Myeon, were interrupted. Korail temporarily suspended regular trains between Seoul, Daejeon, Gyeongbu Line, Cheonan, Iksan, Jenghang Line, and Hongseong, Shohwasong, Sohae Line. The Line 1 subway from Pyeongtaek to Sinchang was also suspended. The 114.9 mm/hour rainfall in Seosan was assessed as a 1 in 100 year intensity. The meteorological agency warned that rain would continue, with total rainfall expected to reach between 100 and 300 millimeters in Daejeon, Sejong, and Cheongcheongnam-do areas until July 19. Authorities have declared the highest level emergency, mobilizing rescue forces across the region and advising citizens to remain vigilant, ready to evacuate if necessary. The Korea Water Resources Corporation has also started releasing water from the Boryong Dam to control flooding. The situation remains complex and is being closely monitored.
The world changing, disasters are no longer rare, they are reality. You cannot predict the next earthquake, flood, or wildfire, but you can choose how ready you are. This channel isn't just here to inform, it's here to wake people up before it's too late. So if you're watching this now, take it as a sign. Don't just scroll, don't just watch. Subscribe, learn, and prepare, because awareness isn't fear, it's power.